will get some benefit from that. But Krishna consciousness is about consciousness, right? It's about a conscious cultivation. And so we are hearing about the nature, the example of the great devotees associated with these places, and then we are benefiting from that in a substantial way. So Uddava, he is associated with this place, as Maharaj was explaining. He is known as Krishna's best friend, particularly in Dwarka. There are 3 Krishnas. In case you weren't already confused. There are 3 Krishnas. There's Krishna in Vrindavan, there's Krishna in Mathura, there's Krishna in Dwarka. And Vrindavan Krishna, that's who we're interested in. That is the most original Krishna. That represents the sweetest and highest, most developed expression of Krishna. And so Dwarka Krishna in Vrindavan, Krishna is a simple cowherd boy, right? And in this posing, he's able to exchange the deepest type of love and affection with his devotees, right? In Dwarka, he is a royal figure. He actually comes from royalty. And so he's involved in society, politics, and there's this royal aura, right, around him. So this inhibits the free flow of love and affection. So this is why Vrindavan Krishna is considered the most superior. But anyhow, so Uddava, he's Krishna's best friend in Dwarka. He looks like Krishna, as Maharaj said. And there was one time, Krishna, because Krishna, as we were mentioning the other day, he left Vrindavan relatively early. And so the residents of Vrindavan spent most of their lives in suffering and separation from Krishna, right? And they were just waiting, because he left saying, I'm coming back. He doesn't come back. But then sometimes he's sending some letters and sending some reassurance. And there's one famous occasion, Maharaj was mentioning, when he sent Uddava to give some reassurance to the residents of Uddava. And Uddava, as I said, he looks like Krishna, So it is a comfort, in some way. But on that occasion, as Maharaj said, Uddava and our Gurudev, he also expressed that Uddava, he had some pride, some transcendental pride. He's so close to Krishna. They would go everywhere together. He was Krishna's closest confidant. Right? And so when Krishna sent Uddava to Vrindavan to give reassurance to the residents of Vrindavan. Tell them, I am always with them. Tell them always to do this, and so on. That's another story we can tell another time. The gopis actually, they weren't so happy about this message. He sent some kind of impersonal message, like, always think about me and you will come to me. And the gopis are like, our problem is we can't stop thinking about you. Like, what is this? Thanks a lot. We're not like yogis, or yanis who are just happy to sit in abstract meditation. We want an intimate family relationship with you. But anyhow, at that time, for Uddava, this was everything is dynamic, right? Even for inconceivably, even for the residents of the highest abode, it's all dynamic. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's Srila Sridhar Maharaj describes him as a dynamo, right? This divine, vibration, energy. So for Uddava goes through some revelation. What is that? That, he thought he was somebody. He thought he had something. But when he comes in connection with the devotion of the gopis, these divine damsels of Vrindavan, his feeling is, I have nothing. I have nothing. And he's someone who's at Krishna's side almost every moment of the day in Dwarka. So how close he is. But when he comes to Vrindavan, he sees the Braja gopis, these divine cowherd maidens. I have nothing on you. Nothing. And there's this beautiful prayer in Srimad Bhagavatam. Asamaho charanadenu jushamaham sam vrindavane kamapi gulamato nadina Yadushkidam Swajanam Arjapatam Tadikva Dejor Mukunda Padadum Kuki, where he's saying, it is my heartfelt aspiration that I can take birth as a blade of grass or shrub in the soil of Vrindavan, so the divine foot dust of these divine damsels can shower upon me. So this is like a what's the word? This is like a signpost, or what do you call it? Like if you're like trekking and you have like a marker. Yeah. This is like a marker. Like you're on the road, you're approaching Krishna consciousness, Krishna. Here's a marker for you. Do you have some touch of that type of feeling in your heart? Then you can understand you're on the right track, or you're not. Do you have that? Do I sincerely feel in my heart that I would be happy to be a particle of soil in Vrindavan, to be a blade of grass? That is how you can understand someone has something real. They have so much appreciation for this that they're happy to embrace the least connection. The least connection with that thing. So it is a very important expression and quoted many times by our gurus. And another thing I was remembering just now is, and this is also, see, it's very, as I've been mentioning repeatedly, we are worshiping the aprakrita lila of Krishna, the human-like play of Krishna. Means it's deceptive. It's appearing very ordinary. So it can be very difficult to really appreciate how high it is, right? And Jaigaranga was just mentioning this scripture, Brihad Bhagavatamrita, which is a very helpful scripture for us. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj would recommend devotees to read it, because it's showing the gradation, it's showing the ontology, showing like before you get to Vrindavan, what are all the different layers before that, right? Vaikuntha, this majestic expression of the Lord Narayan, right? That's on the way. So don't be deceived by this little cowherd boy. There's so much within that. And so also in line with that thought, I'm reminded of, there was one incident, we hear of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. He was traveling, or he was in South India, and he came across some pundits, some scholars, and they're having some discussion. And they asked Srila Sridhar Maharaj, who, in your opinion, who are the greatest devotees? Who is the greatest devotee? And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he said, what is your understanding of that? And we hear that Srila Gurudev mentioned that this was always Srila Sridhar Maharaj's style. Like if he was getting into some debate, discussion, he would first want to hear what is there, like a lawyer kind of, like, what's your argument? And then he can establish on top of that. Knows what he's working with. And so these pundits, they had the whole of Srimad Bhagavatam, 18,000 verses memorized. These are the kinds of people you'll find in India. Whole Bhagavatam memorized. And so Srila Sridhar said, so what is your opinion? And they said, we think the Chatusang, the four Kumaras, many of you are familiar, the four Kumaras, there are these four boy saints. Actually, they are ageless, they are very ancient beings, but they like to appear they wander in this form as four little boys. They are sons of Lord Brahma, the creator. And they are known for being, very, very renowned. They're strict celibates and always absorbed in devotion. And they actually, their father, Lord Brahma, wanted them to marry to help continue with the propagation of the humankind, mankind, but they refused. And they are known for being great wise sages. So they said, we consider they're the greatest devotees. And so then they said, so what is your opinion? And Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, I consider that they are beginner level. And And then he said, I will demonstrate to you. And then in 2 verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, he was able to establish his point. And the first one was an expression, and this is also showing how dear Uddava is to Krishna. Visnatata me priyatama atma yogirna shankara nacha sankarshino nashri naivatma cha yatavama. Where Krishna is speaking to Uddava and saying, oh Uddava, nobody is more dear to me than you. He's saying, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, even Lakshmi Devi, even my own self, Baladev, Sankarshan, all of these great principles associated with the Lord. Okay, nobody is more dear to me. Even my own self is not as dear to me as you. He's saying to Uddava. And we also hear that the Lord, he actually meant in a general sense his pure devotees, his beloved devotees. But because he was speaking with Uddava, and he's feeling their relationship, right? And he's saying you. So he first Srila Sridhar Maharaj established this. And so it mentions in that verse Lord Brahma, right? And Lord Brahma is the guru and the father of these 4 Kumaras, these 4 boys. So therefore, you must say, if Krishna is saying even their guru is not as dear as Uddava, then you have to say Uddava is higher than these 4 Kumaras. And then Srila Sridhar Maharaj quoted this second verse, the one that I said in the beginning, this about Uddava glorifying the Braja Gopis, this is Samaho Charanare, where Uddava is saying, I want to be a blade of grass to receive the foot dust of these gopis. So Krishna is saying Uddava is more dear than Lord Brahma and the 4 Kumaras. And then that same Uddava is saying the Braja Gopis are so much higher than myself. So you can logically deduce, right, that the Braja Gopis, they have the highest position. So this is Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And these scholars, they could not argue with that. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, the way he said it was, they had the whole of Bhagavatam in their mouth. But they could not actually understand the essence. And when I remember this story, I always consider how privileged we are. Because, what do we know? Like, we haven't had to go through all the Vedas. I haven't read Srimad Bhagavatam myself, But because we've come to the topmost masters, we could defeat some of these great scholars who have so many scriptures memorized. They're giving us the essence. They've been through all of that, and they can understand the essence. And this is why we need a guide, right? Because we can get lost. Actually, it's a jungle here. Like Anjali was asking me the other day about somebody. Oh, is he a devotee? And I said, Anjali, everybody here is a devotee. They're just different kinds of devotees. Everybody's a devotee. I walk on the street, there's 20 different types of tea lives, and there's just so many devotees here. But what kind of devotee? What is the particular conception that they're cultivating? So this is why we need a guide. This is why we take shelter.